Hello Internet, Mike Bertolini here. I'm playing Vampire, the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Not much to say, just kind of jump right into where I was. One thing I do like more about this game than Bloodlines is Bloodlines seems like it's taking place all in one night, and the nights in that game are very long. While Coteries nights are shorter and a little bit more manageable on a night-to-night basis. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right in. If you have any concerns about the voices I'm doing for the characters, let me know in the comments below, but realize I'm doing my best, and it's not like there's any audio for this game. You open your eyes. It's pitch dark here, the blackness of a coffin drifting in the abyss. Oh, right, the light. You grasp for the switch, flip it, the familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows comes into view. You emerge from the bedroom fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie's waiting for you, comfortably seated on the sofa in your living room space, a book in her hand. The Melancholy of Resistance. The title is sure on brand. Good evening, Em. Good evening, Sophie. I hope you rested well. Tonight will be quite eventful, I think. Come, we have an appointment. I received word Elysium would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. She keeps talking as you walk downstairs and get in the car. Gregory gives you a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car when you take your seat in the back. Most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there, at least those who usually attend. Probably some other important personalities you do well to at least learn about. You never told me if there's any Savior Vivre, I can't pronounce that word, kind of rules I should respect while talking to other vampires. Knowing that you're among our superiors is probably the most important. In our society, status comes with age. Pardon my sincerity, but you are insignificant. Not even associating with me can make the fact that you've been kindred for barely a few nights be forgotten. So know your place. Stay out of your superior's business and show the utmost respect. Thanking the prince for sparing you, and maybe having a friendly chat with Kadir publicly might show your gratefulness for being part of the Camarilla now. I would suggest you make it sincere. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Do not tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved you. She might be protecting and teaching you. But it's clear what she's really concerned about. Her own interests. You step into the art hall with something of a bad memory. The last time you were here, your entire world had been turned upside down and your existence nearly ended. But tonight there is very little outward hostility. Yes, Kadir gives you a look that's definitely intended to remind you of your place, but the prince, also in attendance, seems pleased to see you. Welcome, Sophie. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand there is somebody else you wish to present to the court tonight. Yes, Prince. They will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, Langley. The prince gives Kadir a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness. He's in a particularly foul mood tonight. Something to do with M's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ouch. That must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of your sire makes you feel a pang of emotion again. Whoever he was, he left a lasting impression, one reinforced with your visit to the show space last night. That's the past. Right now, though, you're back in the gallery and are reminded of your sister instead. Emma frequents this place. Is she aware of these clandestine meetings after dark? The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks you out of your thoughts. Gregory enters the room, the jumpsuit-clad inert vampire still staked on his shoulder. The show is about to start. Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadir. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his chest. The captive's eyes flicker to life and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours, keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Kadir steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. Why? Who do we have here? Oh fuck, oh shit, no. Come on, don't. Silence. Sheriff takes on an aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature that's out to get you and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in terror. The beast inside you shrieks, and you can swear it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests here tonight. It's unlike anything you've experienced in his company during your turbulent first night as a vampire. He really did go easy on you, all things considered. Seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into a fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me, man. Don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs, at the prince's discretion. Please, go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up. Let's go. He doesn't wait for a confirmation. He just grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming, out of the room. Conversations start all around you. Some whispered, some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. So, what happens now? It'll be at least some minutes before Kadir gets the information he seeks out of this thug. Why not mingle while we wait for him to break? Excuse me. Sophie leaves your side and goes to a corner of the gallery where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, gathered. Concierge offers you a drink, still warm. Smells nice. Just a sip to start you off. Splash over your palate, coating your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Nourishment. You're left to your own devices. You have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that you recall seeing here those few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her. Their conversation seems to be casual. A loud, shrill laugh turns your attention to the bespectacled man you saw with Sophie on the night of your judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up different patrons. You feel somebody's eyes on you. Casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column, watching you. Turns his gaze away sheepishly when he realizes you've noticed. There's something about this guy. It's not that he's staring at you. Most everybody in this room has, at one point or another. It's how he does it. He seems shy, maybe even afraid. It's hard to find a secluded spot in the gallery tonight, but this guy has an entire corner of the room all to himself. As you approach, he's standing alone with no glass in his hand, a worried look on his face. You look worried. Something wrong? Well, besides hanging out with blood-drinking monsters and acting like it's no big deal, no. I guess it's business as usual. His bitterness is palpable. Sorry. Having a bad night. The name's Larson. Or you can call me Robert. It is fine. So, who are you? You mean like generally? A vampire, same as you. Though I might not quite look it. I'm one of the Prince Panhar's Primogen. I'm here on business. In case the prince requires my insight. Usually it's so she can hear me out before ignoring me. Not sure if you were paying attention the other night, but when the prince mentioned diverging opinions on whether you should be executed or not, that was me. I was the diverging opinion. Not that I'm ungrateful, but out of curiosity, what was your reasoning? My reasoning? Just common sense. That you shouldn't be blamed for being assaulted and essentially murdered to boot. But, as Kadir loves to say, the traditions are clear. Listen, I don't want to be rude and I appreciate you reaching out, but word of advice, stay away from me. Many vampires in the sect regard my position as Primogen to be some kind of joke, you know? You talk to me, they'll notice, and they'll hold it against you. You have a quick look behind you and see that a few of the kindred keep shooting you curious glances. One woman in particular, a redhead boasting a fanciful hairstyle, watches you disapprovingly. Some of them already do, I imagine. Excuse me. I need to try to get a word in with a few Primogen members before Kadir returns. Enjoy your night. With just a critical look of a few kindred to keep you company, you start thinking about who to pursue next. You notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her element and not to be disturbed. Kadir hasn't come back yet, so you can probably still find time for at least one conversation. Okay, so... The man notices your attention, but it takes a few minutes before he pauses his mingling for long enough to actually approach him. He looks at you quizzically. Thomas Otero. Pardon? It's my name. I assumed you'd like to know. I know you. By name only, of course. M? Embraced just a few nights ago, huh? Well, well, well. How's Undeath treating you? It takes some getting used to, for sure. Oh, it sure does. Sure does. Good things we have the eternity to make the best of it, right? He takes a moment to clean his glasses, completely ignoring you until he's done and puts them back on. I'm sorry, I got a bit distracted. You know, most of us don't need to wear these, right? I can see just fun without them. But it's state limit. Damn things keep catching specks of dust and other sort of shit, though. Never stay clean for long. Sometimes the things are more trouble than they're worth, wouldn't you say? They look good on you, really. You bet they do. Alright, that was a nice chat, but I have to catch up with a few other fellas tonight. Talk to you later. Genie? Hey, Genie! He doesn't even give you a chance to say goodbye. He's already off, grabbing 2 glasses off a concierge tray and handing one to a mustachioed man nearby. A loud exchange near the staircase grabs everyone's attention. Kadir is back, and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes his unfortunate victim inside the room. The vampire that threatened you last night is a mess. That stupid hat is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in yellow, welcome shadow. He's barely conscious. His shin is broken, you think, something protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but clearly a whole lot of hurt. Well, Kadir, did our guest cooperate? Tell the prince your name. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? The Midnighters. And not Coterie, my prince. Acted for some time now. Though from what this one told me, the name is about the only legacy the group has kept over the years. I see. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't. A loud crack makes some of the guests audibly gasp as Kadir's slap dislocates the man's jaw. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and claiming a domain without the prince's approval. Let alone be enough to pass swift judgment. But he is also anarch scum. My prince, there can be only one verdict. Final death. Do your duty, Sheriff. Unless, of course, somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan like our dear Miss Langley a few nights ago. The look the prince serves you and Sophie is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under yours in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes for the window. In a split second, you make your choice. Focusing your blood, you dash forward and grab Howard by the back of his jumpsuit, pulling him away from the window. You expect some resistance, but find you don't have to worry about it when a swift cut separates Howard's head from his body. You let go, and the headless corpse slumps to the ground. Kadir is standing between you and the window, his sword drawn, and an ugly smile on his face. Well, Em, your eagerness is laudable, if unnecessary. That Howard fellow couldn't have hoped to escape his fate, not facing Kadir's expertise. However, I have made note of this show of loyalty on both your and your patron's accounts. I would like to thank Ms. Langley for bringing this anarch thug to me and my Kadir's attention. I assume all have found the verdict satisfactory? It's a rhetorical question, and everybody here knows it. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room and you see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. You probably have the time to strike up conversation of your own too. Kadir al-Asmai is still here for one, but getting clearly ready to leave. Both Lawson and Arturo seem to have stayed around too. One is still moping around, and the other chatting with the remaining attendants as if nothing happened in the meantime. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved, so you decide you won't get a better shot at saying your piece. He is just sheathing his sword as you approach him. He noticed you just before his face turned to a melancholic frown back to his regularly predatory smirk. You seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. What is it then? I wanted to thank you for bringing me here in one piece, for giving me a chance. An emotion creeps into Kadir's face that you haven't seen the sheriff exhibit yet. Is that gratitude? It's fleeting, only there for a moment, gone in the blink of an eye. It was trying on my nerves, and you still are far away from proving that it was the right thing to do, so don't think that a few kind words will let you off the hook. Still, I have to admit, I was as surprised as the prince when you jumped at the opportunity to stop that anarch from escaping. I was sure Valerie would have beaten you to it. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. I was wondering if you could tell me something about Sophie. She talks a lot about the Camarilla and everything, but I know almost nothing about her. Oh, I can tell you something about Sophie. Some things she wouldn't want you to hear. Like the fact that she's manipulative and vindictive. But then again, which of us kindred aren't? You want to know more about Sophie's past? Ask her. She's unlikely to tell you the truth, though. Quite sure she never told me, despite our previous history. That's what we do, fledgling. We exist for centuries and we lie. to our family, our friends, our lovers, to our kindred, sires, and childer, to ourselves. He picks up the sword and turns towards the stairs. Good night. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'll be sure to keep a close eye on you. With that final threat, he leaves the gallery. It's right about when Sophie also enters the conversation and walks over to you. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come. Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time you arrive at another building, just 2 streets across from your apartment. She brings you upstairs, though a very nice lobby and luxurious looking hall, into her domain. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take in your surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, and a nouveau riche's living room, meticulously combined together. Apologies. Old habits die hard. Clearly some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out. Breathes. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh, yes. You might not know. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you'd like. Other things too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back, the bedroom, similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. I have your interests in mind too. That's why I've given you your own haven. Well, I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something. When you're in trouble, too. Though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. Okay. I'll come over first thing tomorrow night. I appreciate that. That's silence again. There is definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip. I promise that you'll show up tomorrow and some polite goodbyes later. You open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. It's exciting, in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into the secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you, it's bound to teach you more about this thing you have become. You sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. Alright. Before he rests again, I'm gonna look at some more dictionary terms. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. Pause it if you'd like to read it. Alright, so everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, share with your friends, make it known that this content exists. The YouTube algorithm really appreciates it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.